funny. Trading stocks just made me.
Oh. Thank you.
She actually wants to be a veterinarian, but she's gonna do that tech work while she's going to school.
Hello.
Hello. Oh. Hi, cutie. Good morning.
the
Hello.
more than I spend out of it because we keep doing that and I'm sick of it.